man riding a loud street bike and just being
in
loud
a place
about
that is
it.
not supposed to be loud. I mean, he's
Wearing
drawing
rugs.
attention to himself.
Wearing rugs.
Yeah.
He's stuffed 4 cigarettes in his nose
And mouth.
and he's lighting them at the same time while drinking a beer and standing on the road.
Yeah.
And you said something that anyone who does stuff like that is crying.
Yeah. There's a little boy inside crying for attention.
Saying, love me.
Love me, please. Yeah.
Look at me.
Yeah.
I sing.
Yeah.
So as a man, sometimes our anger is a cry for help.
Yeah.
Like the need to use...
We use anger to shield something.
To shield something,
right?
While also calling for
help
attention.
at the same time. Yeah. So, for example, probably this guy sticks a knife in his wife's head because he doesn't want to face the accountability that the wife is bringing to him.
Exactly.
There's something missing in you, man. You're supposed to be a man, but there's something missing in you. So instead of facing that truth, he'd rather silence her forever than face it.
So the first time I came across the word danger, I read it as danga. I think I was 4 years old. I was taking a walk with my father, and we came to this place. I saw the signpost, danger. But I remember reading it, danga.
Reminds me of someone who read the sausage, sausage.
So I'm saying this
Yeah.
to bring this cliche statement that anger is one letter short of danger.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm saying that there is a verse somewhere in Proverbs which says that a man who cannot govern his anger and a city without walls,
They're the same.
they are the same. It's a dangerous situation to be a man who cannot govern his anger. But then, we should not talk about anger like it's not a natural emotion. It is a natural emotion. The Bible shows us clearly that Jesus got angry. Meaning, it is natural for a man to be angry. But then, what is not natural is when your anger exacerbates a situation rather than improves it.
In your anger, do not sin. That's what the scriptures say.
It says, be angry, but sin
Don't
not.
sin. Yeah. Yeah.
Meaning that anger is
It's a human thing.
Let's think about it this way. Ask people, what makes you cry?
Yeah, we've handled that before.
And when you think about it, it's the same question. What makes you angry?
Yeah, anger, and I normally use those two things.
I think it's supposed to be, what's the word? Like stimulus.
Yeah, catalyst.
A catalyst for change or for action. You get it? Now, the issue here is that many times we are provoked into anger without knowing what the alternative action is. So a woman is talking down at her man, and then he gets angry and does the expected thing. When she says, if you're a man, touch me, you think you're a man, you can't even do anything. And then...
But you know, such like sins can actually repeat, because talking of patterns of paternity, I can tell you there could be two sets of men here, right? There is a man who has seen that happen in his family as he's growing up, not just in the family but also in the clan, right? And the man being challenged, if you're a man, do this, and the man actually goes ahead and slaps someone around. The pattern of paternity, the imprint goes on to him innocently without him knowing. And then there is another man who sees probably the opposite. A woman tries to cajole a man and says, if you're a man, try to beat me up, and the guy walks away. And that guy also, he sees that imprint comes to him innocently. So later on, the thing repeats itself like it normally does in life. Later on, as an adult, the boy faces a situation where a woman is saying, if you're a man, do X, Y, and Z. the pattern of paternity, the imprint of paternity will automatically come to the fore.
You know, as you say that, I find there's something that's coming to my mind even as we talk about these anger issues. So we've established that our anger and our ego tend to be twins. Yeah? That a man who does not have his ego in check very easily does not have their anger in check. So there's another word that we use for anger. Temper. But you see, temper is a neutral word. So it can be short-tempered or long-tempered. Being long-tempered is what? Is the opposite of anger. Patience is the opposite of anger. And the thing we want to come to at the end of this conversation is to bring the wounded warrior out there to a place where their sense of vision and understanding empowers them with a deeper sense of patience that will protect them from making unnecessary mistakes out of emotion. So, having said that, I want to introduce this word temper. That is short-tempered, he has a short fuse, and these are things that have been used to describe men's lives. That he has a short temper. I grew up in a house with a father who was said to have a short temper. I mean, anytime it could happen on you, like an African parent. And
so you walk on eggshells?
Yes. And this is a situation where daddy walks into the house, everyone scatters. This is what happens in people's houses. Because the father,
everyone keeps quiet.
The man is walking around with anger, just ready to burst, just ready to happen on people.
I think it's a very heartbreaking thing to see a man walk into the home and the kids, especially the children, they shut up, they keep quiet, they get scared. So the atmosphere of uncertainty.
So do you know what has happened in that house?
Yeah.
Ego has filled the room. His ego has filled the room.
Yeah.
And there is no space for anyone.
Yeah.
So temper.
That's a very. I think it's a very.
It's a gross situation.
It's a very gross situation.
And if you're a man out there and that is who you are, then we want to say there's a better way.
Yeah.
And that better way.
You don't have to be a man. I mean,
you don't have to be angry to be a man.
Exactly. You don't have to silence people, right?
And you see,
just by your presence. You know, some people normally think that the more their presence silences people, the bigger the man they are.
You know what is strange? I don't lose this tangent of temper. We'll come to it. But I want you to think about the American prison system. And how the American prison system has over 2 million African American black men in prison. Right?
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. This is a country with the biggest amount of imprisoned men across the globe. Now when you look at the things that get these men in prison, the gun violence, the black on black crime,
which is never talked about by Black Lives Matter.
But it is talked about in the boondocks when they talk about nigger moments.
Yeah.
That why do you allow yourself to have a nigger moment in your home?
Yeah.
Nigger moments have caused more trouble for the African man than anything else.
Yeah.
Not knowing when to let an issue go, not knowing when to keep quiet, not knowing when to turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
I mean, think about what Jesus said, that if someone slaps you, you turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
Because you are, by doing that, breaking a cycle of calamitous events that could ensue following that moment where your ego has been bruised. Because when Jesus says, if a man slaps you, turn the other cheek, he's literally bringing out a situation where your ego has been wounded. What is the proper way to respond to a wounded ego?
Yeah. Do we take a break and then we come back to that?
Let me finish with temper.
Yeah.
And then we'll continue. So temper. you see this desk here. It has a glass on the top, right? And the glass that makes our screens, our phones, it's called Gorilla Glass, Corning Gorilla Glass. There's a company in the UK called Corning, and they have this glass that they use to develop smartphones. Now, this glass is what is called tampered.
It's been tampered with?
Not tampered with, it's been tempered actually.
Tempered.
It's been tempered. And this is what tempering is.
Yeah.
Tempering is when you get a normal piece of glass and then you expose it to a certain level of pressure and then you seal it with a certain microfilm and you seal it again and you seal it again. Why? So that should it have to deal with the shock of an object falling on it, that shock is distributed on the outer film of the glass, the tempering of the glass. It spreads out the vibrations, and then the glass itself holds. Those vibrations do not reach. Tempering. Are you seeing where the word temper comes from? That so if you have a short temper, you are like that glass with no protection.
It's not been reinforced.
You are
properly.
like that city.
Yeah, without walls.
Without walls.
Yeah.
You are easily breached.
Yeah.
Like this glass, you're easily breached. And as a man, if a simple coward like this can turn you, can tick you off, if a simple insult or a simple act like a child is walking and then he breaks a glass and then you happen on the child.
Yeah. Did you see that? Did you see that clip on Facebook?
Which one?
There was a guy actually who was having a fight with his wife. Local.
I've seen too many of them.
Yeah. So what happened is that a kid happened to pass by.
Oh yeah.
By the guy.
And he sent the kids flying.
Yeah.
I see. Why are we so angry?
Yeah.
And this is what we're talking about today. That a man who cannot control his temper is the same as a city without walls. It is ready to be breached anytime. And you'll be amazed how many people are in prison today.
They're regretting.
And if they had that opportunity
2 seconds
again,
yeah,
they would turn their cheek.
Just 2 seconds of madness.
They would turn their cheek.
Yeah.
Because they discover that what was wounded was their
our
ego.
vision is that
But
through
what is
our
paying
work
the price is
there will
their
be
life.
a raising of a movement of godly, solid, covenant men who know themselves, understand their purpose, and are clear about their worth and responsibility to lead the nation's generations, one man to one son, passing on the authentic blueprint of a God kind of man. Welcome back to Solid Jamaa. We're talking about patterns of paternity here, and we've been talking about the issue of anger, the issue of emotions, and the man. And there's so much to cover on these episodes. Growing up, I know there are some of us who experienced several episodes of anger from our men, from our fathers, from our grandfathers, and so on and so forth.
Is the word anger or anger?
Well, I don't know.
I saw Steve Harvey being amused by an African who said anger.
We can actually do a Google right now. And
so here you say the word anger. I'm like, I hope I haven't been saying this word wrong. But anyway,
what was Steve Jobs doing at that moment in time?
No, it was one of his talk shows.
Yeah.
And so he asked a question, and then this African man said, anger. So Steve Jobs is like, what? It's like, anger. It's like, so he wasn't getting it, so he's like, angry. Like, you mean anger. But okay, you know what? It doesn't matter how it's pronounced or how it sounds, it feels the same.
Yes.
It's anger.
It's not anger. Anger.
So the man had it right. But anyway, no matter how you pronounce the word, how you write the word, you feel it the same.
Yeah, you
anger
feel it the
is
same.
anger.